Oh, now can you hear me? I was muted. Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. I know it's kind of a last minute thing, so I probably don't expect to see too many of y'all in here. Let me see. Hey, hot tea drinker. Hey, Rabbit. Good to see you. Miss January. Hey, Sarah. Lauren. I'm glad you caught a notification too. I need to keep going live a bit more just as we keep up this topic about the trial and everything going on. Hey, Jill. Miss H, SD, how is everyone? We'll just catch up for a bit. Hang on one second. How's it going? Hey, Tennessee Nana. How is everybody? Is it hot? Who all had storms and rain? Y'all, we got so much rain. That's why I didn't go live. Yep, all good is here. All good is here, Miss H. It's finally we have some clear weather. Hello again, Ruth Carroll. Not here. You have bad weather there, Miss H? Or did it go away? We had a bunch of rain, and I think we got like 8 inches over a few days. My in-laws, they got 8 inches in one day, so I don't even know how much they got total. But so I didn't go live Monday, Tuesday, or yesterday because I knew that I might have issues with my Wi-Fi, and it's very possible I'll have issues with my Wi-Fi today. And not only that, I'm making I wasn't planning this very well, so I'm doing my sourdough right now, and I have one more stretch and fold I need to do. So I just did one, so in about 35 minutes, I'm going to have to take a real quick break and go do my last stretch and fold, and then we'll be good. So if anybody's in here in 30 minutes from now and I don't say, oh, I get caught up in something, can someone remind me to go do my last stretch and fold? Anybody that does sourdough, y'all will understand. Oh, week with my buddy was so good. Thanks for asking, Sarah. Hey, Misty. Got a bunch of rain there last night. Yeah, my week with her was really good. I always hate it when she leaves, but we did a lot. We went to a water park, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We have one that's about an hour away, and it's a decent one. And if anybody knows me, if you know, you know. And water parks are kind of my thing. So it's a very good one. They have very, very, very well trained staff. They have as I kind of forgot, you get excited, go, oh, we're gonna go ride this ride. Well, hey Christine. So you go ride this ride, and it's a huge water slide all the way up. Well, they don't have escalators. So you forget, yeah, it's your love language. Same here, Laura. So you have to walk up all those steps. And a lot of them at this park, it's a 2-person ride. So you have to carry up this 2-person raft, and they're heavy. So you have to go up these steps, you got like 10, 12, however many flights of steps. My legs were on fire, but I did it. And she's taller than me. I think anybody's taller than me, but she's taller than me by quite a bit. And so trying to carry that thing up there with like a difference in height was pretty damn funny. But we had a blast. We spent a lot of time in the lazy river. But we did most of the rides. Thank you, Rabbit. I have a timer on, but it's in the kitchen. I don't know if so yeah, that was good. And then we did some shopping as always. And we always have like little excursions we want to go do. Like we'll see stuff like trends on TikTok or on Instagram or whatever, like food wise. And so we'll usually go try to do all that stuff, or at least go get the ingredients to do it. So we stay busy. Water parks and beaches. Yeah, we go to a beach Snorkeling, yeah. I'm really weird about where I'll go snorkeling, but yeah, I do love a good place to go snorkeling. But we'll be at a beach. My husband and I'll be taking we'll take our beach vacation. I think we're going the end of July this year. You know what, Misty? It's funny because I saw a lot of grandmas doing the same thing where they're like on the lazy river. And with me, it was just me and her. And I was surprised. And she's a teenager. She's a very good kid, y'all. And I said, do we want to find a kid to bring along so you don't have to hang out with this old lady? And she's like, oh, I like hanging out with this old lady. So, it was good. But, that just made me go up and down all the stairs more and more. She's not as much as a daredevil probably as I am, though, even at my old age. Hey, Shauna, so glad you made it. Yeah, I don't know. I knew it was kind of last minute, but we've got so much to cover. And so I thought, since the weather's good here, I'm going to try to go live. I'm just going to go live. If I go out, if my sound goes out or anything like that, please let me know in chat. Oh, what did I just do? Hold on, of course. If I go out, just let me know in chat, please. Because sometimes I can't tell. I'll be in a totally different window. You're on a break waiting to hear about KJ. There's nothing new as of right now. There's just a few things I think are interesting to talk about. But what we've been covering is, as we know, and I'll just say this as a reminder again, what was it, been 2 weeks now? 7M was able to file their amended complaint. The judge granted their motion to amend the complaint, which now, so that one supersedes the original, which had 87 statements that 7M considered defamatory. The new one has 212. So 212 statements that she has to defend against. That's not good for Katie. Because as you'll see, as we get through these, they're pretty bad. So I think we got through number 36 or 37 last week. Or well, I guess it wasn't last week, whenever I did it last. And so we'll go through another, 30, 40 of them today. But once we get into the ones that are like, because when 7M did their amended complaint, they did a whole new chart of each statement that they consider defamatory. And we've gone through this many times, but it's always good to refresh. And so these new 212 statements are in a chart. And so let's say there's a post, and it was a long post, but 7M saw one statement in there, one sentence in there they consider defamatory. They would put the date, that statement that they consider defamatory, the source that it came from. If it's a video or if it was a live stream, they would do the same thing. The date, then they would quote what she said. Let's say it was an hour live stream, but there was only like 5 things she said that they said were defamatory. Then they would quote those, and they would quote that and give the timestamp, right? So I turned off my chat. Hold on. Live chat. Rabbit, I do not understand how she deals with anxiety. I know. I don't either, but I guess we have normal brains. I think, is it balls that I see in her post sometimes where she'll say that's Katie Joy's superpower of not getting embarrassed. If you're in chat, change it from top chat to live chat or to all chat, so you'll be able to see all comments. If you are coming in, please hit that like button. That will help with the algorithm. And let me explain this too before these haters and assholes that want to come in here and say, if you want to grow your channel, maybe you should do something differently. If I want to grow my channel, I'm fully aware that I could do something differently. I understand not everybody's still caught up on the Katie Joy stuff. All I do is talk about her lawsuit, and I'm going to see this to the end. When her lawsuit is done, I'll be done. Pretty damn sure. YouTube's not fun for me anymore. It used to be fun. There's certain aspects of it that are fun. Coming here and chatting with you guys during chat, that is fun for me. Good morning, Ginger Lee. More and more YouTubers are getting judgments against them. That is true. And the courts are starting to recognize it. And, you know, I was talking to somebody earlier and they were like, you know, it sucks that it's gone on this long. Like, you know, this is just being drawn out. And it does suck. It does suck because the anticipation of it 4 years later. But listen, if this would have gone to trial earlier on, Katie Joy would have only had the original 87 statements to defend against, and some of those were knocked off or marked off. So she would have had about 60 statements, and she might have prevailed in some, she might not have prevailed in some, right? Now, because 7M was able to file a motion to amend the complaint, which was granted, and they have these 212 statements that I was just saying that we'll be going over, that they put in this chart. And if it's a live stream, I'll say it was an hour live stream, they put the timestamps of what statements Katie Joy said they consider defamatory. And I've gone through all of those, and I've taken them all out. We've already gone through over 35 of them. Skynet says, or I guess Unitopia. I need to remember that. You're always testing my memory there, Unitopia. Yeah, when she's done with it, you're done as well. Yeah, it's true. It's fun for now hanging out and talking about it with, you know, some of these people. Some of you guys have been in here way longer than I have following Katie Joy. Some of you have been with me since I started. Some of you I've picked up along the way. Some other creators have picked up along the way and thrown you my way. I mean, y'all, this is something that needs to be put out there. People need to understand what is happening in these defamation suits, and that Katie Joy is caught up in something pretty damn big, right? And she never thought it would get this far. She never thought it would get this far. She thought Robert Shin would be in the slammer. She thought that everything else that's happened had vindicated her. I've done videos of that. We talked about it. I put a video out a week ago Monday. If you haven't watched that really catches you up on everything that's where it's at right now. Because at this point, everything that's happened with the filings and all that, we've gone over all that. So it's important to know where this case stands right now. That last video will absolutely catch you up on that, especially about this amended complaint and the latest filings. Also, there are a couple of hearings on the docket coming up. Let me pull it up real quick so I can get the dates. Yeah, Renelle Smith. Oh, Renelle just did a video too. I'm going to share that out later, but I don't know if Renelle's in here. Hey, Irish, how are you? Jill, would hate to have you leave. I might stick around for other stuff, but Katie Joy gets sued again. Yeah, if Todd Chrisley circles back around and he sues her again, yeah, I'll stick around for that kind of stuff. But when it comes to all of her Duggar stuff and all of her other shenanigans and all of her new victims, it's too much for me mentally, y'all. It's too much for my mental health. Hey, Lamb Chop. Everything's good here with the crazy storms. We just kind of escaped some of them. We had a lot of rain up to them. But yeah, anybody who had those storms or in those getting any bad weather now, stay dry, stay safe. Rabbit just posted Renelle's video. Thank you for that, Rabbit. Aside from her lawsuits, I have to say I'm loving the fact that Duggar wife stood up to Katie Joy. And you know what? Katie Joy twisted that, didn't she? If it wasn't for Balls was able to get the actual communication. Katie Joy made it sound like, oh my gosh, what's her name? Her name just totally skipped my brain. It's not Miranda. What's her name? She totally twisted what the conversation was, saying that she reached out to her. But Balls was able to reach out to her and get the actual messages, get the actual DMs, and it didn't show what Katie Joy was saying. Maddie, thank you, y'all. Thank you, Maddie. So I don't know if Maddie stood up to Katie Joy. I think Maddie thought that Katie Joy was a news, was a, I don't know, reliable journalist, and was just trying to give her say, but then realized very quickly that wasn't it. And so I guess Balls reached out to her and was able to get the actual comments. And it showed that what Katie Joy said, it just went off and showed how much she lied about how the conversation truly went. And Rabbit, you follow them, don't you? Because I don't think Renell's in here right now. Anybody that follows them, did Katie Joy delete those posts that she made about Maddie and her husband? Oh, thanks, Jill B. You'd love me doing anything on YouTube. I might find a way after that, because this consumes me. Like, whenever I make a video on this, it takes a long time, y'all. Going live can be pretty easy, but once the trial's over, because Katie Joy, I'm serious. In my opinion, she's a shitty human being. She's an awful human being. She hurts people. She's dangerous. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have that opinion, just like she has it about other people. But talking about her and listening to her videos and getting all this stuff on her takes a toll. It does. Hey, from Sydney, Australia. 57 degrees. Oh my gosh, I forget how far ahead of you are than us. So thank you for joining us, middle of the night, middle of the morning, early morning, whatever. Yeah, and so I don't know why a lot of the people stopped talking about Katie Joy. However, I can say that if it wasn't about this trial, for me being invested in it and me really pretty much being the only one that talks about it and sticks up with it, stays up to it, like sticks with it, I would have left too, honestly. And Renell still talks about her other shenanigans and all that good stuff. I only talk about the lawsuit. I'll bring up certain things here and there. Lurking and listening from the UK. Hey, Tripping Gauntlet. Good to see you. So let's get into it. I'm not going to be on here too much longer today. I always say that and then I jibber jabber. But again, just a reminder that if you want to tell me how to run my channel, just exit and leave. I don't need you here. I just don't. Especially if you have a failed channel. Okay. If you've been on here for so many years and you haven't made anything of yourself, yeah, I don't need your advice. And I understand though that some people give me constructive criticism, and that I will take constructive criticism. I absolutely will. I engage with people that leave me constructive criticism. If you're not calling me an asshole and calling me a liar and telling me that I'm that I support cults and I must be paid by Robert Shin, all that bullshit and all that nonsense, that childish shit, yeah, I'm not going to respond to that. But if you genuinely have questions about the situation because you don't know, I understand that. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant to a topic. I'm ignorant to a lot of topics, and I need some people to school me on certain things. There's not an issue with that. I do not mind trying to explain myself, explain my side, giving you all the details that I have so you can make up your own decision. But if you just want to be an asshole just get lost. I'll just block you, because this channel doesn't mean that much to me. It used to. I'm here now. Oh yeah, Joanne Cochran still talks about it as well. Thank you, Christine. That's true. And with her being in Australia, a lot of times when she goes live, sometimes I'll catch it early in the morning and I'll listen, but I don't ever really engage and chat as much as I should. I need to give her more support and let her know that I'm there. But if she's listening, I do listen to her and I do watch her as well. And she talks about the lawsuit and the trial too. She's a good one to listen to as well. Thank you for bringing that up. I did not mean to leave her out. Thank you for putting in, and Rabbit just put her channel link. So yeah, and that's not me trying to be an asshole. I love all of you that have been here, that support me. You know who you are. Even the silent ones that don't comment, that don't want to be known that they're in chat, that don't leave comments. You know, I'm not putting you down. I know who my supporters are. And I talk about Katie Joy right now because this is in my opinion, this is an important thing for people to get out there, that everything Katie Joy has said about her lawsuit, I have shown what the truth is. I've shown the documents. All I do is use her own words. Yeah, Charlotte talks about it occasionally too. I don't know if she talks about the lawsuit as much anymore. I think she kind of refers people to me for that, but she definitely talks about her shenanigans every once in a while. But then I think she starts to talk about it, and then she remembers exactly why we don't like talking about her, and then she goes off to the other stuff. And I don't blame her. I absolutely don't blame her. Yeah. So, oh, thank you, Joby, so much. I appreciate you. Hang on, let me go back over here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It is a lot of work, you know, but it's.
Thank you for the love and the money while we keep covering this dummy. It keeps this little channel growing so we can keep this crazy going. From the bottom of our heart, we love you so dang much.
I mean, it is. It is. It's a lot of work, but over time it gets easier. And I honestly was ready to stop talking about her. And then I had, you know, I talked to some people on the back end, and I decided to keep it going. And I've made a promise to you. And listen, y'all, I take my promises very seriously. I'm true to my word. There's a lot of things I might not be good at, but I'm true to my word. And I've made a promise. If this goes to trial, this channel, you will know exactly what's happening at that trial. Okay? Every single day of it. That's I'm here to tell you that. So this channel, and listen, if for whatever reason this channel goes down, I'm on what's it called? Rumble. I have a channel on Rumble as well. And if for some reason you don't see me here, and if some people say they don't like Rumble, and I understand some people in other countries can't be on Rumble, but if somehow I disappear, find me on Rumble, because all my videos over there, I can go live over there, and I can say way more shit on Rumble than I can say on YouTube. Yeah, and then I'm on X also. I don't ever really go on there. Yeah, Katie has said a lot of terrible things about Charlotte. She's done everybody dirty. She's done so many people dirty. And there's been people that have done Katie Joy dirty. Okay, I mean, not that I'm a Katie Joy fan, but there's some people that have done Katie Joy dirty, right? I mean, it goes both ways. And that's why I solely talk about this lawsuit, because these are facts, and I'm just going to stick with the facts. I've learned early on to just stick with the facts. Hey, Blake, how are you doing? Hey, Ruth Carroll, did I say hi to you? I just saw Blake acknowledged you. All right, so let me switch over. We'll just catch up by looking at all these comments again. All the comments that, and again, Jill B, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. Because everything that goes to this channel, all my memberships, super chats, super thanks, all that good stuff, that is what will allow me to keep you guys updated at the trial. Everything that comes into this channel, I set it aside, and it will only go to anything that has to do with Katie Joy and the lawsuit and the trial. If I need to order transcripts, if I need anything, I use, and it costs money to run a channel. And I think that's something that some people don't understand, that want to critique and come in. And I know it's none of you that are in my chat supporting me. That's not who I'm addressing. But if you have some shitty comment to make, I'll just delete it, because your comment doesn't mean shit to me. And not to be an asshole, but it really doesn't, because I'm here for one thing and I'm going to see it through. And what I do make from this channel will keep you guys updated. Okay. All that out of the way. I'm going to say that every time. Also, if you don't like my intro, sorry. I have gone back and cut it out on all the live streams that I do. I'll go cut it out, so the people that come back to rewatch it, you don't have to sit through it. I do not like long intros. There are some people that have the most ungodly long intros, like 10 minutes plus long, but it gets me set up So whenever I go live, I play that, and then I can make sure I have everything in order. And for you asshole that wants to tell me, get your shit together before you hit the live button, go screw yourself. All right? Go to somebody else's. Go. And so I have been going back, and I have been cutting them out. Okay, I'm done being a bitch. Thank you, Misty. It took me some time. Yeah, it is AI generated, but it did take me time putting it together because I had to do like 4 different AI generated videos, and I had to go clip and cut and paste all of them together and then redo the music. So, but it is AI. Hey, Sherry, I haven't started anything, so it's fine that you're late. We've just been catching up, talking about what we're going to focus on, and let me get, well, thank you, Laura. All right, let me pull this up. Let me go back so I can share my screen. Let me make sure I got this pulled up. It should be pulled up for where we left off last time. All right. Is that viewable? Everybody able to see that? Let me catch up on real time over here. Trippy Gauntlet, you're not a bitch, just speaking the truth. I get so fed up with these people that are like, you're jealous of Katie Joy. Please tell me what of Katie Joy I'm jealous about. Please tell me. Who in their right mind could honestly think I'm jealous of Katie Joy? Like, truly. I don't understand how anybody in their right mind could absolutely think that I'm jealous of Katie Joy. There's nothing about her that is envious, in my opinion. Some people might like it, whatever. Not me. Not at all. There's nothing about that woman's life that I have envy of. Nothing. Nothing at all. I count my blessings for everyone that I have. My life is mine because that's how it was handed to me and how it is meant to be lived by me. And Katie Joy's is Katie Joy's life. And I'm going to talk about her lawsuit. So there we go. There we have it. Oh, no, you're right, Laura. She's married to Toad. Who wouldn't be envious? Yeah, like, why am I jealous of lawsuits and spending that kind of cash? My husband would have yanked me off a line a long time ago. Of course, I never would have gotten myself into this situation, right? My husband doesn't tell me what to do. It is very hard to rein me in, but I also wouldn't be hurting people on a daily basis, right? I just wouldn't be hurting people. And I honestly believe that Katie Joy does not think that she's hurting people sometimes. Y'all, my dogs are in here with me too, so you're going to hear them being anxious. Is it time for me to go do my stretch and folds? I'm going to give it like 10 more minutes, and I'm going to go do my last stretch and fold. Because my starter didn't rise the way that I needed it to, and so I waited a little bit longer. But anyways, enough about that. Oh, well, thank you, Tripping Gauntlet. See, that's why I come on here to boost my ego, because y'all are nice to me. And I could just delete the comments I don't like. How about that? I could be like Katie Joy. And look, I'm not going to lie. If you're going to come in my comments and you're going to like insult me and say things, or you're going to insult another creator, or you're going to insult Miranda or James Derrick, I am going to delete your comment. But if you're genuinely going, I don't understand why you feel the need to defend these people, I will explain why. Because I understand that it can be confusing. I understand that people don't know this. And if I'm going to be here to try to give this information to people and to spread this information to people, right? If that's what my goal is, I can't be pushing people away when they're asking questions because they genuinely do not know. 4 minutes by your clock, Sarah. Thank you. Even if I'm a few minutes late, it's okay. It's my last stretch and fold, and then I'll just get it to set aside for a few hours. Block. But then they would say I block everything, which is what Katie does. I know. And you know what? At this point, I really don't even care if I will block people that use certain language or that are clearly out to just insult me. Not even me, really. You can insult me all you want, but like Miranda and James or any other creator. Yeah, Kate only cares about the ones who put money in her pockets. I agree with that. Sourdough does smell like beer. You've never made sourdough? I didn't start making it until recently. And it was very intimidating. But there's this creator, oh gosh, what is her name? Hold on. Let me see if I can find one of her shorts real quick. Serena. Oh gosh, what is her name? Serena. Here it is.
I found this in my basement.
Serena Neal. Serena Neal is a YouTuber, y'all, and I think she's on I watch her on YouTube. She is the most amazing creator. Like whenever I start to feel like with all these, because there's some bad people on social media, right? We know this. We know there's a lot of bad people. She is an angel, y'all. But she also does sourdough, and she makes these videos. And one day she was like, some people say that sourdough is really difficult, but I think it's foolproof. Because I'm a fool and I make great sourdough. And ever since I watched her video, I'm like, you know what? It's not that serious. And all my sourdoughs turned out pretty good. Even my first loaves. All right. Enough about that. All right. Make sure I'm in real time. All right. So this is where we caught up last time. I think that says number 37. Again, if it's highlighted, oh, and I'm going to ask y'all a question about something too here in a second, get y'all's opinion. If it's highlighted, that's the only statement out of this post that 7M is including in their amended complaint and the 212 statements. Okay. So yeah, Serena Neal, y'all, she is amazing. She does so much for her community. You would be, if y'all don't watch her, I'm telling you, she'll make you cry. She'll make you smile. It's nothing but positivity. She does so much for people. It is unreal. I've never seen anybody do so much for people. Talented and a lovely human. Sourdough alarm. Thank you, Rabbit. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. It's going to take me about 3 minutes to go do this. I'm going to hit play on this. And it's what you'll see is how I have this set up is, again, it's highlighted if it's included in the statement. Whatever's not highlighted, they're not considering defamatory, or at least that's not what they're putting in their thing. If you see any of the hashtags highlighted, those are the particular hashtags that they're using in the amended complaint that Katie Joy is going to have to defend herself against. If only if all the hashtags are highlighted, then they're using all of them. If it switches over to a video, whether it be a live stream or her YouTube video, if it switches over to that, I only put in the clips that they put the timestamps to. And you'll see where it flashes, it switches over to the next statement. Yes, thank you, Rabbit. Take a minute to like this video. I'm going to go do my last stretch and fold real quick. I'm going to hit play on this, and it's just going to play. Some of these are up for like 45 seconds, so there's going to be some silence. Then I'm going to ask y'all a question whenever I come back, and then we're going to finish getting into it. So I believe this is number, is it 37 or 67? Okay. I just hit play. So it's going to go through. Thank you, Blake, for the reminder. Okay, so that was number 37. Number 38. See where the arrow is, where it says we aren't an occult? If it has an arrow to the post, like the picture, then they're including that in their statements in the amended complaint. So on number 38, we aren't in a cult. They've included that. And then here's the entire post. They actually included this entire post as being defamatory. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to let it play, and then I'll come back and I can always rewind it if y'all want me to read it. I understand some people can't read it, but go ahead and try to read it. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. I'm going to do my last stretch and fold. Hang on. I'll be right back. If my dogs bark, if something happens, then my dog stepped on the keyboard. I'll be back. Y'all be good. Y'all behave. No, stay in here, baby. I'll be right back. Stay in here, baby. Okay. Everybody go lay back down. I'm not going anywhere. All right. I'm going to hit mute for a second so y'all don't have to hear me get situated. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Okay, thank you, Christine. Because it's showing that it's lagging, and I don't know why. It's showing that it's, you see how it's like thinking? Oh, Renell's in here. Hey, Renell. Okay, so I got my last stretch and fold done. So you have my undivided attention because I won't have to tend to that for a while. Hey, Renell, we shared out your video that you did. I'm going to share it on my channel later. Okay, now I got to get situated again because I feel like y'all might not be able to hear me. So let me do this real quick. All right, so I need to go back. I need to refresh this for whatever reason. It's not showing. You have a tornado warning, Renell? Oh, no. Oh, no, no. Yeah. Stay safe. I don't know if I ever told you, it's been a couple years now. We had a tornado hit our property and I was home alone. So I had all the animals like in our, in a closet. And it was the scariest situation of my life. It ruined, it took we had to get a new roof. It damaged. So we still have things that have not been repaired from that. Yeah, the video is frozen. So I'm trying to, that's good that y'all can hear me. I'm not cutting out for whatever reason. It just had to do with this. So now all I got to do is get it back. Let me share. Hold on. All right, so let me share this again. So we were at number 38, right? So let me see. Why is that not wanting to play? You better zip it, dude. Okay, so this is where we okay, so all right, so let's get started. So where she says we aren't in a cult. JJ, what is the last day they can go after Robert? July. Okay, that's a good question, Rabbit. So I'm trying to catch up real time here. So technically, they have until July 6th. Okay. They're to put it, okay, July 6th. So if he's not indicted, if we don't see a civil case against Robert Shin or against the $105,222 that was seized, if we don't see a civil case filed by July 6th, then he's not going to be indicted. Now, I know he's not going to be indicted. I'm pretty sure of that. Never say never, right? I can't say the 100% certainty. So don't take my word for it because it's not in black and white. And it's not in black and white because it's a federal case. It was an investigation and it was sealed. What we were able to see was the communication between his attorneys and the government regarding the money that was seized. And they kept filing extensions. And this last extension for them to either file a civil suit or return his money was July 6th. So we're not far from that. When it gets here, then yeah, we can say, okay, he hasn't been indicted, nothing's happened. But from my understanding, he's already, his money was returned to him. Whether, I don't know if it was in full, in part, or what. And so what does that mean, right? Well, obviously he was investigated and they kept extending it because his attorneys kept saying, they kept agreeing to this stipulated agreement to extend it, to extend the time for the government to come back and say, yeah, we think this $105,000 is affiliated with a criminal activity. Hey, Suzanne, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Robin. If I haven't acknowledged you, I haven't looked at chat mostly. So July 6th is that deadline. Again, they were filing these stipulated agreements to extend the time for the government to basically look into it and then determine whether or not they felt this money was affiliated with a criminal activity. And if it was, then he would be indicted. Or they could have come to some agreement where some of the money was returned or all of it was returned. We don't know because it's sealed. Just like Katie Joy doesn't know. She might know from a source, but why do you think she's not talking about it? She's not talking about it because it proves that what she said is wrong. And it also proves that if he's not going to be indicted, then that means all of these 212 statements that we're reviewing right now, all these 212 statements that are in this new amended complaint which supersedes the old one. So now she has these 212 statements to defend against, not just 87. All the newer statements where she's saying that he's going to be indicted. She even said that he was indicted at one point, saying, you know, enticing everybody to contact law enforcement, contact FBI, contact the DA's office, all of that, right? All of those things, all that's going to do is show that the FBI and these other agencies did a full investigation and they found nothing. How is Katie Joy going to defend that? Y'all, she's screwed if July 6th comes around and nothing happens. If they had the evidence, they would have charged him by now. Christine, absolutely. I firmly believe that. Never say never, right? We know these things can take time. We know that, you know, it can take years, but I'm able to see the filings, and I've showed those filings. The only filings we're able to see in relation to this whole situation are the stipulated agreements for extension filed by his attorneys in LA. So crazy. If I were Katie, I would be so worried and moved to try to settle. She's always said, oh, I won't settle. But Robert, there's no way Robert Shin will settle. That's just my opinion. And Suzanne's in here. And Suzanne is the one that you said something to me at one point, Suzanne, when I asked you a question, and it just stuck with me. And I appreciate you so much. I don't know if you know how much I appreciate you for always being kind to me and answering my questions. Because again, I was saying earlier, there's certain things that I'm ignorant to, and I don't mind owning up to ignorance. Just means I haven't been educated on it yet, right? And there's a lot of things that I'm not aware of that Suzanne is fully aware of. And I asked her a question about Robert in the very, very beginning. And I said, is this, you know, do you think Robert would settle? Do you think this will be a situation that will settle? And you told me, she said to me, no. And you explained to me why. And I don't want to misquote it or whatever, but what you said as to his beliefs, how he is in his religion, him as a person, whatever, all the things that you could gather as him as personality from your experience with these leaders, religious leaders, these, you know, his pastors, whatever it may be, that he won't. And you said that to me, and I have stuck with that, and you are absolutely 100% correct. And here we are. So settlement, Suzanne, you want to say? And thank you. And she just reiterated that it has to do with his religious beliefs. He'll never settle. And I give you the credit for me sticking to my guns when people ask me, will he settle? In the back of my mind, I always remember what you told me. And that was years ago. That was probably 3 years ago, if not 4. Oh, is there some good news in here? What did I miss, Sherry? Barney, cool it. Oh, congratulations. You know, it's so good to have such good news. You got a raise. And you're listening to us on the side. Do they know? Okay, so congratulations on that. I'm not perfect, but the way Katie tore up Miranda's career is so wrong. That's, y'all, the reason why I'm here, why I stick through this, is because of Miranda and James. That's the main reason. Not in the sense of how Katie Joy is like, oh, you know, I'm an advocate for Miranda and James and blah, blah, blah. No, people need to understand the truth. People need to hear the truth. People need to hear the truth on this. And I know my channel is small. My voice is small. That's why Katie Joy will never, ever make acknowledgement of me, because it'll just, you know, I speak the truth on the lawsuit. And more people are coming over here to see it. And we've just got to try to build the base and you know, a larger audience of people to understand what the truth is. But even if you're not interested in Katie Joy, we should be interested in the fact that creators are being sued in the court of law and are being held accountable. And yes, we don't like how long this has taken to get where it's at. But because it has, Katie Joy is in a world of shit. She now has all these statements to defend that she stated as fact. She stated as an absolute fact, and it's in evidence, that she said Robert Shin is running a sex trafficking ring. He's been investigated, y'all. He hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been indicted. He hasn't been charged. How is the jury gonna look at that? Hey, Triple Threat. I hope you slept. I hope you had a good sleep. And sometimes those last hours of sleeping in are the best sleep you get, like the deepest sleep. Okay. All right. So, this whole entire post was a doozy. For the sake of argument, let's just entertain dancers' belief that they aren't in a cult for a second. So they aren't in a cult, but they have a super strict manager. I would like them to consider these details. Number one, your pastor has been accused, see, this is what happens. Oh, well, we'll just skip to number 5. Your pastor has access to your bank accounts and actively disclose your, actually, I'm going to go back. Okay, back to number 1. Your pastor has been accused of propositioning women in his church to engage in inappropriate contact. Your pastor has openly admitted to marrying or being in relationships with at least 4 women at the church. Your pastor has openly admitted that he curses people that do not donate to him. Your pastor refers to himself as a man of God and demands you. Hold on, I can't see right now. Okay, your pastor has access to your bank accounts and actively discloses your private bank records to the church. I think that that's been said under sworn statements from Miranda and James that that's not true. Your pastor has been accused of spying on members, placing spy technology on computers, hacking and monitoring all electronic communication of members. Number 7, former members call the church a cult. Number 8, former members accuse your pastor of forcing them to divorce spouses, cut off family, and live in houses with strangers who will become their quote-unquote new family. Number 9, former members have accused your pastor of fraud, extortion, threats, and intimidation. So this was very early on, y'all. This was, we'll see the date here in a second. Your pastor admits a split happened in the church around the same time a church member, oh God, I put it too fast. Anyways, you get the drift. She has all of these. It's going to take forever to read this one. Your pastor admitted under oath to using church money to fund his private life. Number 12, court records show your pastor receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars in checks within a few month period from members. 4 members have accused him of forcing them to work for no pay, no overtime, and 14 to 16 hours a day. Again, sworn affidavits say otherwise. Number 14, former members allege they were denied access to own their own vehicles, instead were forced to use church cars. I think that's been disproven. Number 15, former members have accused your pastor of forcing them to put their children in daycares for hours every day so they could work for him. So some of these, y'all, she can say, well, look, it was hearsay. I heard it from this person. Okay. This is early on. And if this case would have gone to trial over just these original 87 statements, it probably would have been okay for Katie Joy. You're going to see that these statements we're reading now, compared to what comes later, how bad it is. Number 16, your pastor admits that he has an estranged relationship with his sister for his behavior in 2008. So if you aren't in a cult, then you're simply following a horrible human, which is more reason for people to not support 7M. Okay, fine. Suzanne says, these are some cult-like characteristics of the church, just like Bethel and a few others connected, but you cannot call it a cult. Thank you for that. Ruth Carroll, a lot of unholy things happen in churches. That's a true statement. And some very holy things happen in churches. But it's not Katie Joy's place to tell people how to live their life. Okay, so here's number 40. This is from a live stream she did early on. Let's listen to, again, I only clipped the timestamps that 7M has included in this new amended complaint as the 212 statements. This is number 40. And I do a flash whenever it switches over to the next defamatory statement they consider, or the next statement they consider defamatory.
I think psychopathy is a pretty good way to describe a lot of cult leaders, because psychopaths,
my bad, y'all,
and their need for destruction, and they are very destructive in society. They commit crimes. They don't have any empathy towards people. They don't see people as human. It's a means to the end. Like, I think what bothers me, there's a few things that bother me about what's happening with the Shins more than anything, is it's just the way that they're manipulating the public in such a huge way. You know, it's just such a, like, there's likely crimes being committed before our eyes under the guise of influencing, and that's not right.
Okay, so that was considered defamatory. Number 41. If it cuts out, let me know. So on this one, the arrow points to, it's okay, Miranda. You can blame me for being dangerous. I won't stop fighting for you. This is one of the most frustrating comments out of all of the things. This one really bothers me because she's saying, you don't know what you want in life. You don't know who you are as a person. I will do that for you. I will fight for you. It is so gross, Rabbit, right? It's so gross. And remember, Miranda put out a statement asking Katie Joy to not fight for her. And she was insulted, shamed, and said that Robert Shin was making her do it, and to not believe a word she said. So this one says, I will certainly expose the damage Robert Shin has inflicted upon dozens of people. Again, not your place, Katie Joy. I haven't damaged anyone. I think they're going to be able to prove that differently at trial. Robert Shin is a person that has harmed you. I have a feeling they're going to be able to prove that differently too. We will continue to... so frustrating. We will continue to report about this cult because until Robert Shin is held accountable, more dancers are at risk of becoming victims. This is only number 41. Right, Unitopia? Miranda is a grown-ass adult. She can handle herself for real. Oh, no, Katie Joy knows best. Katie Joy probably knows about my life better than I do. She probably knows what I need with my life more than I do. I'm sure she'd be willing to tell me. So this one I must not have been, it was deleted, so I wasn't able to find it. This is number 42. Shekinah Church operating out of compliance of zoning and ordinance regulations. I looked for this and looked for this. There were some other posts that she made that were similar, but it wasn't this particular one. And then they included the hashtag 7M Dance Crew, cults, Shekinah Church, trafficking, forced labor, 7M, false prophet, and Robert Shin. It's interesting that, and I always go back and as I look at these, I'm like, I wonder why out of everything she said, you have to think about, why did Amber Stavig choose this one? Why did she choose this one? You know what I mean? Like, and you can see as time goes on, you can see these puzzle pieces coming together. So you can see how I've put this together, y'all. Here's my question for y'all. And if y'all are listening on the replay, go ahead and put it in the comments. What I'm thinking about doing is after I do a live, and let's say we get to number 70 today, I'm thinking about just putting a video out of the number 1 through 70, and in the very beginning of it, explaining what it all is, but putting it out there, and then that way, and I won't commentate on it. I won't talk over it. So it'll be quiet, just like what you're seeing here. It's just quiet. but they're numbered, it's highlighted, and then, or if it's a live or a video, I have those timestamps. Would y'all be interested in me putting out a video doing that so y'all could just focus on that separately if you wanted to? Or would that be a waste? Okay, here's number 43. You think that's a good idea, Rabbit? I might do that. So this is when she was saying that that Ellen needed to completely separate herself and not give them any credit to anything. That she was mad because Ellen DeGeneres did not respond to her. She was pissed off that Ellen didn't. So here's a post that was deleted. It says there are a few accusations. This is number 44. There are a lot of accusations that by contacting brands, we are harming the dancers. Robert Shin and his team are controlling every move these dancers make. Let me get my glasses. I finally got me some readers, y'all. You should be proud of me. They control their money, time, and they're forcing them to live in property they either own or manage. We're not hurting the dancers. The dancers are being hurt by Robert Shin. Every single person I speak to, including experts on my team, say cutting off the funding to the cult is an effective way to stop them. All she did was just hurt the dancers and hurt their income, and that's going to come out in trial. The dancers are not paid by brands. Bullshit. And that's going to come out in trial. Don't run their own social media. That's going to come out in trial. And aren't making any of their own choices. Chloe Shin and Daniel Joseph are telling them what to post, when to post it, and what to write. Chloe has gone as far as to create fake accounts to speak for Miranda. The cult doesn't allow them to speak to people when they are on jobs. What were you on these jobs, Katie Joy? Were you there firsthand to see it in person? This is borderline human trafficking. So back then she was at least, okay, this is March 15th of 2022. All right. At least back then she's saying borderline. This is borderline human trafficking. You skip forward to 2025 and 2026. She's saying as a fact that it is. Okay, hold on. I didn't realize it was going to do that. Multiple sources have told me that at jobs, their managers watch them like hawks. They aren't allowed to answer questions, and everything must go through Hannah Shin. They're working long hours. They're paying them a percentage after they are paid. I mean, isn't that how management companies work? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that you get a percentage. I mean, she might be saying it's an unfair percentage, but whatever. Lydia Chung sued Robert for doing this to her. He stole $4.7 million from her. He forged her name on documents. See, because she's, she heard Lydia Chung say that Robert Shin forged signatures. Then Katie Joy in 2025 all of a sudden starts saying as a fact that Robert Shin has forged all kinds of documents. She harasses anyone she decides is evil. Yep. Thank you, Mrs. H. I went and I did my stretch and fold, so I am good. So now you have my undivided attention. Thank you for that. The team of voices in her head. You know what, Rabbit? She does. She focuses on the females. Robert Shin told a source in 2019 his plan was to build a sanctuary, have artists do everything on his property, and to charge them for everything. He allegedly left to the source and said he wanted all of the money. Yeah, there's greedy fuckers out there that do that. They're business owners that would say that. Hearsay. These dancers may say they are happy, but they do not know the danger they are in. I've got so much I cannot share yet, but when everything comes out, you'll be shocked. It's horrible what is happening. Well, then they tried that in the Netflix docu-series, didn't they? So no, we aren't hurting the dancers. That's Robert Shin. We are trying to cut Robert's exploitation of the dancers, period. We see how this grew and changed and got so much worse over time. So if these were the statements that she was sued for, and let's say they went to trial, it probably would have gone in her favor in a lot of ways, to some degree. Tortious interference, probably she would have been held accountable for, probably, whatever, I don't know. But now that she has, now you see how she's kind of saying these things. The stuff that she's saying now and has said that we'll get into, once we get past like number 115, you'll see the difference, and you'll see why I'm glad that it's taken this long to get to where it's at, because it's taken this long to get where it's at. She has all these things to answer to, and if Robert Shin is not charged, if Robert Shin's ever indicted, and Robert Shin can prove to the court that he was investigated and cleared, Katie Joy is screwed, because she states all of those things as fact. Hey, Mama Celeste, how are you? Good to see you. Again, if I haven't seen you in here and acknowledged you, welcome. Thank you for joining. Number 45, what's highlighted, sources that have attended the church say Robert Shin is obsessed with money. In fact, during the church service, he's allegedly known to tell the group how much money each dancer is making. Apparently, the source said that when one of the dancers made $150,000, Robert proudly announced this in church. Asked if the dancers were receiving the full money they make for their work, the source felt doubtful. Okay. They alleged a lack of transparency by the leaders. I mean, in what world does any employee make the full amount of money that they make for the company? I owned a business for years. I paid my employees an hourly rate. I gave them bonuses and stuff, but there's a lot of overhead in businesses. So no, just because, I mean, who's going to work for free? Who's going to manage somebody for free? Now, I'm not saying that maybe there wasn't some unfair management going on with their funds, right? I'm not saying that, but to make a statement to say that if the dancers were receiving the full money they made for their work, that the source was doubtful. I mean, come on, that's just, and people are like, oh my God, he's robbing them. And look, again, if I'm defending Robert Shin, please, anybody in here who has followed me from the beginning, when has anybody ever heard me say I support Robert Shin? When has anybody ever heard me say I don't support Robert Shin? You haven't heard me say either. Okay, who I do support is Miranda and James Derrick. Okay, and I've always said Robert Shin is a grown-ass man. He is a tough man. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. He's a pastor. I'm sure he's quite manipulative, whatever it may be. But if he's been investigated by the FBI and he's not charged, I've always said the truth will come out. And that will tell us who Robert Shin is. Because Katie Joy has, and these others, they've created a narrative that is, Wilma June, go lay down. Hold on a second, y'all. My dog's being a bully. Wilma June. Stop being a bully. Lay down next to me. She hasn't filed her answer yet. Yeah, it's going to be a while. She's panicking in some ways, I'm sure. And when I say panicking, I think Katie Joy's version of panicking is different than how most of our panicking, right? We would never be in this situation to begin with. But she's going to be writing a lot of motions. I mean, we know she's already said she's going to file a special motion to dismiss. We know that's going to happen. I know I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to say that she's going to file another motion. You know, so she's going to be answering this. And the courts gave her until August 31st to file her dispositive motion. There are two, that's what I was going to go look at earlier. There are 2 dates on the docket for motion hearings. And there aren't any other motions to be heard. They've all been ruled upon. So I think it's strategy on this part. This judge wants this shit to get to trial. This judge wants this to hurry up and carry on, right? So I think what's happening is this judge is reserving dates, knowing, because Katie Joy's already said she's going to argue this, she's going to fight it, that she feels that these questions should have been sent to the appellate court, that this judge doesn't have the authority to do what she's doing, was to answer some of these questions or whatnot. So she's going to be arguing a lot of stuff. And I think this judge basically is putting it on the docket to reserve time. So when something's filed, they'll have it. That's just my thought. I spoke to somebody who kind of seems to, who has more knowledge of it and seems to agree that it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with emotions. So that's what I'm thinking. Are the dancers punished if they don't submit or obey Robert? The source alleges yes. Robert allegedly, see, at least back then she was saying allegedly. But 7M was arguing, you know, she says allegedly, but then she cancels it out with the next breath. Robert allegedly takes away privileges such as going to church, Bible studies, spending time with others in the church, work opportunities, and collabs. Finally, the source alleges that Robert has convinced the dancers that they cannot have success without him. Y'all, I'm sorry, my dog is walking around and she needs to lay down. Lay down. Lay down. While he lives, and she thinks I'm talking to her when I'm talking to y'all. While he lives in a large home and drives a Bentley, well, heaven forbid, he has all the dancers living in homes grouped together. The homes are through the church and they pay rent to the church. Yeah, she is so predictable, Suzanne. Spanish Red and Adderall. You think we'll get a Spanish Red live? Suzanne, and then she says, don't shoot the source messenger. I'm thinking, y'all, I have a lot of thoughts on this. So February 9th was the last hearing, okay? And in my last video I put clips from that hearing. So February 9th was the last hearing. She goes to YouTube right after the fact, right? And she basically is saying, they're trying to frame me. They're saying that I'm the reason that Robert Shin is being investigated. They're trying to frame me for the FBI raid. You like the jingle from her collar, even though it's pissing me off. It's like, my nerves are shot, woman June, lay down. Poor baby. These dogs are so spoiled. For them to have to take an hour out of their day, they're just fine. I'm lagging again. Hopefully I'm not lagging on y'all's end. So, okay, so February 9th, she does that, and she says, they're trying to frame me, but I will not be silenced. Okay, and she makes this big deal about it. Saying, I won't be silenced. How dare they? And she was panicked, you could tell, but she was trying to act like she wasn't. She has not spoken about it since then. She has not said a word about 7M since February 9th at that last hearing. And that was the pre-trial hearing where all parties were required to attend. I was going to get the transcript from that hearing. I'm not going to say why I'm not, but there's a reason why I'm not going to get it. I still might try because I wanted to hear what was said, because clearly 7M is arguing we have proof to show that Katie Joy is behind this FBI raid. Okay, this is just my, don't quote me, okay? This is just my my thought on it. That they're able to say we have proof that that Katie Joy is behind this. I truly firmly believe that. So is there something else happening behind the scenes? Is there something happening with the FBI and maybe involving Katie Joy? There's a reason why she's quiet. We all know that she does not shut up. She hasn't spoken a word since February 9th. Yeah, I know. We're all like, when's the next one? When's the next one? Suzanne says, I hope so, because those are so funny to watch. Her lawyer may have stopped those drunk lives. Her lawyer was never able to stop her in the past. This is just my own thought, my own belief. I say it behind the scenes to people that I talk to. I think there's more going on, y'all. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think there's more going on. I think Robert Shin needed to get himself cleared. I think Robert Shin probably still needs to be fully cleared. And I think that if he's cleared, there might be something else going on. She hasn't spoken since she got online to let everybody know. They're trying to frame me. They're trying to frame me. Was that like her last word, right? Like, I'm going to put the last word in that if something happens to me, it's because they framed me. I don't know, just thought. Because like we said, she's predictable. When something's not going her way, what do we see? A post about her child or a post about her animals, right? A post about being sick, something. Okay, good. I'm not lagging. I realized I was lagging because I was in another window and I had it paused. The FBI documents everything. Yep. And when you've made so many calls to the FBI regarding different people, same accusations ultimately, but different people, right? Just saying. Number 46, the dancers are never alone and not allowed to make decisions without Robert's permission. Robert truly believes he has the right to take away someone's free will. For those saying they are adults, let them be in a cult. What if your loved one was held hostage? Okay, no one's being held hostage through threats of damnation, loss of income, loss of friends, cursing, taking away privileges. You know, and I'm sure Suzanne can probably explain this because I can't explain it at all. So I could say she could explain it better than me. Anybody could explain it better than me. But I mean, I guess by saying being held hostage through threats of damnation, I'm sure that's a true statement. Someone like myself looks at it more like realistically, like, oh, they're physically being held hostage. She did say that at times too. There's been no proof that anybody's ever been held hostage, but I'm guessing that this could be a typical standard tactic to be held hostage through threats of damnation, loss of income, loss of friends, cursing, taking away privileges. I mean, I'm sure that to some degree is a true statement. Okay. But as you'll see, as time goes on, we're only on number 46. As we get into the hundreds, like after 100, she says way more than just that. She's saying that they're physically being held against their will. She has said that there are invisible people that Robert Shin is trafficking because he was able to get them false green cards, and because they are here on fake green cards, illegal green cards, he's trafficking them. She says that as a fact, y'all. Like this is infantile here. Like this is nothing. Suzanne says, think it's likely a true statement. Conspiracy theory much by her. FBI Steve tipped her off. Of course, Sarah Lopez, her BFF, Scuba Steve with the FBI's in her back pocket. Robert has taken away privileges and punishes dancers who do not submit. Okay, and I see why they highlighted this. Punishes them how? What is your punishment? Katie Joy would always use these play on words to make it seem like they're locked in a basement somewhere. He demands full submission. They're not allowed to ask questions because questions are evil. You notice how they didn't highlight anything about the firearms that Shirley apparently owns. And then she says, this isn't a cult. Okay, this is March 17th of 2022. So just weeks before she was served, right? This isn't a cult. This is, in my opinion, a madman that got away with it once and his behavior is escalating. Who's the madman and whose behavior is escalating? Whose behavior has escalated over these past 4 years? Number 47, this has to do with MAC Cosmetics. MAC Cosmetics has confirmed to multiple people that they are not partnered with 7M and have no plans to partner with them in the future. How can you take away their free will when they seem to leave of their own accord all the time? Exactly, Laura Vaughn. And dancers have said it. They've been on podcasts stating it. It's in written statements that they walked away. Like if you look at the LA lawsuit, these dancers that are the cross complainants, right? They've said they simply left. They walked away. They left. Katie Joyce made it sound like they got their ass beat down. Yeah, the biggest clue is she hasn't claimed that she's won anything. Exactly, Unitopia. Because before, with these filings for the stipulated agreement, right, to extend the deadline between Robert Shin's attorney regarding the $105,000 cash that was seized in the government, before Robert, Katie Joy would be like, oh, by January 6th, he's going to be indicted. He's in fact going to be indicted. It's imminent. Remember those posts? And then they filed another stipulated agreement to extend, and they extended it until April 6th. And then she said, oh, this is bad. Like, he has until April 6th. He's definitely going to be indicted. Well, then by the time April 6th came around, there was another stipulated agreement with an extension. That was the last one. And that was extended until July 6th. That is where the July 6th deadline comes from. They kept extending it by 90 days. My understanding is after this last stipulated agreement was filed in May, he received his money back, whether it be in full, whether it be in part, what their agreement was. They came to some type of agreement. But until July 6th comes around and we see that there's nothing been filed against Robert Shin federally, civilly, nothing, right? Then we'll know. The timing lends credence. It does. Invisible people are so difficult to find, Laura. Countdown to July 6th, Rabbit says. Using other people's money to fund their lifestyle is not new for the Shins. That's the statement out of this post that 7M has included as being defamatory. Yeah, those pesky invisible people. She thought she got away with so much because she really thought in her mind that he was going to be indicted. And we even saw that in one of her filings. We even saw where she said Robert Shin's indictment has vindicated me, basically. And then her attorney had to submit an amendment to that, which was on a Saturday. She had to file this amendment and say, oh, we didn't mean indictment. We meant investigation. So instead of federal indictment, it needs to be replaced with investigation. That's bad. That's defamatory in itself to their own court. Hey, Ambrielle, how are you? Hello to you. All right, here's number 51.
Robert is a dangerous man because on top of the sexual commingling of sleeping with the women at church and having 4 wives and sleeping with other women at church while he's married and having affairs with other women and young women at that, he's messing with people's financial lives. He's controlling who they can be friends with. He's telling them who to cut out and cut in and who they can even speak to. He's telling them that they're anointed by God, and so no one will understand them more than him. He keeps no records of donations to the church. There's no oversight. He controls everything. He is the CEO of the church. He's the CEO of the management company. He is the CEO of every company that these people are involved in. No one is above Robert. Nobody is putting Robert in check, and Robert isn't telling these dancers the money that's being made. Robert already lifted $4.7 million from Lydia. Do you think that I would place myself in danger by telling people publicly I'm going to report him to the IRS? Do you know that that could probably get me killed? But do you understand how dangerous these people are? Do you understand how dangerous these people are? There's lots and lots and lots of car accidents involving personal injuries. I have a feeling the Shins like to chase people with cars, but I haven't been able to prove it yet. I have a feeling they might be trying to chase people off the road. And we also know that they have a lot of population that he's targeting, and he is exploiting them in a way that is so despicable. And then he's using them in a way that actually pisses me off because he's playing into stereotypes.
Okay, so to answer the question, in the statements they listed, did they include her saying he runs over people on the sidewalk? What we just saw is the most, from my recollection, but we're going to go through all of them as time goes on. That's just all that was pretty much said that they put in as evidence is that they run people off the roads. Katie Joy would have to leave her house to get chased off the road. Yeah, Liz Lou, I think they did not include that, but they did say that what we just heard her say.
Of Black men by effectively using them to recruit women so that they end up looking like pimps. And it's disgusting to me because this is Robert Shin, a Korean man, doing this, exploiting
her eyes are cool.
Black men. And then he's turning anyone that is concerned for them into racists when he's actually being the racist.
Who's the racist? And that comes up a lot. There's not a lot, but there's a couple more times talking about how Robert Shin exploits black dancers and all the things. And 7M, that's one thing that they really did focus a lot on in this is trying to say that Robert Shin is racist. Did they include the faked pizza delivery? No, they didn't include that in any of this. They didn't include anything to do with those emails, really. And what we were just talking about a little while ago, whenever I was saying, she was accusing Robert Shin of those fake deliveries, right? She was accusing Robert Shin of being swatted. So I'm wondering if it might not be part of this civil lawsuit. I don't know. But no, it's not included in this civil lawsuit regarding the pizza deliveries. That's a good point, Suzanne, because I was going to say, yeah, that's true. She only attacks Christians. But that's right. She and Toad attended a church and they wouldn't help her. They did help her. And didn't they stop funding her? And then she got pissed off and she left. So now she hates all Christians. Hey, Girly Reds, how are you? You're not too late. We're probably going to be on here a little while longer, and you can go back to the beginning. But we're just going over the statements. We're on number 52. We started at number 37. I'm just trying to reach. Yeah, calling him Roberto's not racist. Drives me crazy when she calls him Roberto. Like, it makes me so angry. Oh, the hole she has dug, says J. Marie. Yep. Oh yeah, just a Midwest mama dismantling cults by aggressively cyberbullying the victims of them. Oh man, just a Midwestern mama dismantling cults one by one. Is that what she said? I have that post somewhere. Yes. Yeah, I know Balls has that. Clip. I have that clip somewhere because I probably either got it from Balls or I got it from WOACB versus WOACB, where they admitted to faking being Christians For like, what'd she say? Didn't we fake it for like, what, 3 years? And they laughed about it. Yeah, she doesn't approve of any religious group. Good night. Fake being Christian just simply for the donation. I think she admitted that. Are you off to bed, girly reds? Good to see you. Good night. Where are you that it's nighttime? I love the way she says sandwich, and that's what she thinks he meant. I know. And she puts a picture of a club sandwich, a roast beef sandwich. No, bitch. He was calling you a witch that lives in the sand. Oh, yeah. Suzanne knows about her time in the church for sure. Yeah, pretty positive one night. She admitted that it was faking Christianity for donations, and of course, she drug her son into it because she uses him as a shield. Number 52, Shekinah Church controls members' bank accounts according to former members. And this will be disproven as well. Sherry, how are you? KJ loves to put her nose in everyone's business, but how dare they say anything about her own messes? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She said she pretended. Yeah, that was her word. We pretended to be Christians. And then she looks over at her husband. So when she had that blonde hair, and she's like, didn't we for like 3 years or something like that? It's just crazy. She's not in an equal partnership with 7M. Her pastor and his wife manage her career and dictate her whole life. So 7M finds that defamatory. I don't know. The whole drum circle stuff, I don't really know. I don't know the details on that, to be honest. We all remember this, right? I don't know the whole drum circle thing. So I choose not to even speak on that because I really don't know. Apparently her neighbors said something, but how do we know that it was truly a neighbor and it wasn't somebody, a troll, like posing as a neighbor or sending somebody that information? So I take all that stuff with a grain of salt. In my opinion, evil is evil. And I believe Katie Joy falls within that being evil. So that's how I'm going to look at it. But as far as like drama activity and all that, I can't speak on that, and I'm not going to. But hey, if you believe it, more power to you. I mean, but it's out there somewhere. So number 55, Robert Shin barely works and lives off the work of his cult followers. I find that hard to believe. I have a feeling Robert Shin works really hard. Robert Shin's probably a person that doesn't sleep much. He doesn't just, he has a lot of businesses, and Katie Joy's named them all off, but she said they're all shell companies. I think Robert Shin is a successful businessman in his own right. I don't know. I don't go look. I haven't gone and dug into all his shit. None of my business. But Katie Joy, says he doesn't work and he lives off the work of his cult followers. And that's how he has a Bentley. And you know what they did not put in here, if I remember correctly? If they did, we're going to see it here shortly, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. Is where she says, tell us where you got the money for that Bentley, Robert. I'll wait. So then the hashtags that they pointed out are 7M Dance Crew, Colts, Free Miranda Derrick, B-Dash, Shekinah Church, Robert Shin, trafficking, and forced labor. Never heard her say the drum circle story during your time with her. Okay, Suzanne. I don't put any weight on it, but there are people that apparently a neighbor said it to some creator, and I don't know who, I don't know what creator, I don't know if it was something that they just posted somewhere. Maybe it wasn't to a creator, but apparently it was stated from a neighbor. And when it comes to third party stuff like that, but hey, could be true. I guess anything could be true. But they say that the neighbor said something like he's out there doing drumming rituals with blood, animal blood or something. Maybe I just pulled that one out of my ass. I don't know. But definitely the drumming ritual was said. Apparently it was from a neighbor, and the neighbor said it scares the children. I didn't put any credence into it, but You forever want 7M and Todd Chrisley to put Katie in her own evil place. I believe it'll happen. We have to remember too, and this is why I've said when this trial's done, I'm done with Katie Joy. Unless Todd Chrisley's suing her again, and we'd have to follow that. Because people like Katie Joy are not going to change. She's not going to change. Yes, we're going to see Miranda and James. We'll see some justice for them. Hopefully, that's what I'm in it for. Katie Joy having to pay all this money out. Katie Joy, whatever consequences she has to suffer from this, she'll just move on and she'll just do it all over again. She'll find other victims. She won't stop. Someone like Katie Joy will not stop. That's why I won't keep going on about her after this. I'm done with her after this. She will not change. Do I think it could be a great thing for a court case like this for creators being sued for defamation? Yes, that's why I think more people need to see this. This is why I'm sticking with this. Because when this goes to trial, however the outcome is, it could be a big thing. It could be a big thing for fake journalists. It could be a big thing for creators. It could be a big thing for people that are public figures that are being defamed. Just because you're a public figure doesn't mean somebody can be out there stating as a fact that you are running a sex trafficking ring. Most church pastors, dun dun dun, only work around the church, and it looks like they aren't working to others. Yeah, see, and that's where for me, I just kind of look at it as, I guess for me, how much separation, Suzanne, would there be from like his other businesses, like a real estate business, a floral shop, etc.? Like those businesses separate from the church. Is there much separation, or do they kind of intermingle it all together? Nonetheless, I do think he works. I think Katie's wrong about that. She's wrong about a lot of shit. Yeah, with the hashtag trafficking. And the best thing about the hashtags, y'all, the best thing in the summary judgment, it came out where the judge said that the hashtags that Katie Joy includes in her posts, even if let's say the post is about Miranda Derrick making sourdough, but underneath it, she puts hashtag free Miranda, hashtag free Miranda Derrick, hashtag sex trafficking, hashtag trafficking. The judge says that post is to be considered about free Miranda, sex trafficking, and trafficking. That it's to be encompassed as a whole. Katie Joy was so pissed about that. She tried to fight that, but this judge is sticking to her guns. So when you see in these posts where I've highlighted certain hashtags, it's because those hashtags 7M included in their in the amended complaint and the 212 statements. Hey, Susie Flies, how are you? You remember hearing that story as well, Michelle, about the drumming? Yeah. Hey, whoever posts it and they want to post it and they want to share it, hey, good for them. I won't. Yeah, and this could set a precedent, this whole lawsuit. Perhaps in that world, there's a lot of intermingling of businesses and church. I have heard of churches where businesses owned by the pastor is something you make sure you only use. Okay. There's a saying, as wolf in sheep clothing, just always got to be careful and do plenty of research and don't take someone's word as gold, especially Katie's. I know. And you know what I'm seeing a lot of? Like, I don't follow the whole Duggar stuff with Katie Joy, but I do like see like where Balls will make posts on Instagram, and I'll see that she'll get screenshots from the Duggar snark or whatever. A lot of people hate Katie Joy. On her Facebook, when she makes posts on her own Facebook, she gets a lot of backlash. There are a lot of people that see through Katie Joy. On the surface, it looks like there aren't, because she deletes everything. She blocks everybody that doesn't agree with her, and she deletes everything on the social media ones that we follow. So it looks like she's getting all the praise, but in all reality, she has a lot of hate, y'all. She really does. Pastors using undue influence to not only be the mentor and dictator of their lives, of the talent, but also managing and producing their careers is a massive conflict of interest. Okay, Katie, whatever. Members are allegedly told to submit to authority in the church. They must obey and submit, otherwise they will not be blessed and can be cursed with punishment, according to multiple former members. Seems to be more evidence that 7M is using a church to run for profit companies. So, they thought that was defamatory. They think this statement of "this is the truth," this is number 58, "this is the truth." They are preying on vulnerable young adults, broken and isolated from family, and brainwashing them through hours of worship music. Yeah, I've seen that. I've heard that, that most reality show subreddits don't allow her to be mentioned because she's so problematic and unreliable. Yeah, I've heard that too. But again, I've stopped with her shenanigans with the Duggars and everything. I can't, y'all. I can't. Yeah, I think the courts are starting to recognize what's going on, and starting to catch up to the times regarding defamation online. I mean, it took some time for them to catch up, and I think that it's happening. I do. I think it's finally happening, and I think that's why Katie Joy wants this to be very quiet, because she doesn't want to be this precedent to be made, right? Because the trial, I'm hoping. Okay, and again, this is my promise to y'all, that when it goes to trial, that word gets out to larger creators, like really large creators, to local outlets there as well, right? A lot of people don't want to touch this with Katie Joy right now because it hasn't gone to trial. If this goes to trial and people are aware of it, I can see some big creators following it, because then those are the facts, right? Right now, Katie's problematic. They don't want to, they don't want the wrath of Katie Joy, whatever it may be. But I think if this goes to trial, it's not going to be as quiet as it is right now. Yeah, right. It couldn't have happened to a more deserving creator. It's been a long time coming, I think. Yeah, Katie Joy won't stop or change. She will ignore court orders like she always has. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm 50-50 on that. I think if it gets to a point where there's a legal issue, like criminal aspect to it, to where she could suffer some like jail time or something like that, I think she'd straighten up. Other than that, I mean, she's going to say what she wants. Look, free speech. It's all right. Okay. But there is also crossing a line. And 7M has a very strong argument with Katie Joy crossing that line. They have a very strong argument since all these statements that she said since a docuseries came out. Road trip to Minnesota. That there's a much stronger argument now. So, but listen, y'all, I'm going over these 212 statements, but that does not mean all these 212 statements will be what the jury sees. It's a possibility Katie Joy, her argument now, she's going to be fighting hard to get as many of these statements dismissed as she possibly can. She might be successful in some of them. She might not. I can't say. The 212 that are now this is, the complaint that's in play. That last one with 87 statements, this one supersedes it. This one is in large and in charge. This is what the jury will be looking at. Now, in the meantime, if Katie Joy is able to get some of these comments dismissed through summary judgment, whatever it may be, more power to her. But if we want to look at how the judge kind of handled the other statements, and then you're going to see these statements that are even more damning and stated with more as a fact, it's my opinion that a lot of them are going to survive and will head to the jury. You have a feeling that a number of creators are cooperating with the plaintiffs, and that's why they are not currently covering this. I don't know. I don't feel that way, Michelle. I don't think that 7M is relying on creators for much. I could be wrong. But when it comes to the civil case, when it comes to this civil defamation case, could there be something else going on in the background? Maybe. And maybe that's caused people to be more quiet. Do not quote me on that. Okay. That is probably very unlikely, but it could be. There is some, could be likely. Hey, Jill B, thank you so much for being a member for 5 months. I wonder the damage fam-wise with Miranda's family. That, I don't know. And I think...
Thank you so much, my mutton friend. Just remember that I would not be here if it weren't for y'all. And for that, I love you so dang much.
When it comes to the family, I don't know, because if they're able to have any reconciliation, it needs to be done behind the scenes. And hopefully that's what's being done. Do I have faith in that? No, I don't. And I still see support from Melanie, Miranda's sister. Melanie supports Katie Joy and her parents. And it seems that I don't see much from the father, Dean, but from the mother, yeah. It does seem that she still supports Katie. It makes me sick. But again, we have to remember, y'all, we only see so much, right? We only see what we see through the lens. We don't know. We don't, and I try to stay, look, I understand Miranda's family did her dirty. Very dirty. Very dirty. But I also will always hope that a family can be reunited for the sake of family. But it would take family owning up to what they did wrong. And from what I'm seeing, I don't know if anybody is willing to own up to them doing anything wrong. But that's just my own opinion from what I've seen. But again, that's just what I see. But that doesn't mean that it's accurate. Yeah, Rabbit says Katie really destroyed any chance of Miranda getting back with her family. Yeah. I fear that. I believe that as well. And we saw that Miranda was making strides. She was visiting her family. She actually did Mother's Day. She went to go visit her mother on Mother's Day before the docuseries was it was actually being it was in the works. It was under production. And Miranda went to her family. They did dances together. She was celebrating Mother's Day with her mother. All the things, right? They were working on it, but they went ahead with the docuseries anyways. If that's not betrayal, I don't know what is. But again, we can only speak for what we can see. But I believe, I agree with you, Rabbit, that she really destroyed the chance of Miranda getting back with her family. Hey, Karen, haven't listened to her in years. Can't believe this is still going on. It is still going on. I put a video out, my last actual video that was put out. It was like a week ago, Monday. If you haven't watched that and you're up to it, I would recommend going and watching it because it'll get you up to date as to where everything stands right now. And why, what motions were filed, what motions have been ruled upon, and why these last rulings are very important, and why it's, in my opinion, bad for Katie Joy. Melanie and Kelly seem pro KJ. Yeah, they do, Jill B. If they attend the trial, they may have realized. It makes me wonder if they're going to be at trial. Y'all, my heart breaks so bad for Miranda and James. I don't understand how more people do not see the damage that has been caused to Miranda and James, and how they cannot empathize with that. How can they not find any sympathy? How can you not empathize with somebody? Oh, for the life of me, I do not get it. Yeah, a mother should choose her daughter first. Yep, not a hack journalist. Exactly, Utopia. She's Michelle. She does. It does. It seems. It does. It comes across that way, doesn't it? That's my interpretation as well. That Katie is proud of destroying this family. Rabbit, I doubt they will attend. I hope they don't. They were in this fame and didn't even really care about much else, in my opinion. I think you're right, Rabbit. I think you're right. I guarantee you're speaking way more logic than I am when it comes to that. Unfortunately, you see this with people who didn't know Katie's character beforehand. A lot of people wouldn't think to investigate someone presenting themselves as a journalist. Exactly. And we saw that just happen with that Maddie Duggar. She thought Katie Joy was a real journalist, so she reached out to her just to give her side, and look what happened. It blew. Oh, it was ridiculous. And I didn't follow that, I didn't cover that, and I just saw it. And it goes to show how Katie Joy, anybody that looks at Katie Joy as a journalist and sees things like that, I don't understand. But this is the world we live in, right? Everybody has a right to believe what they want to believe. Number 59, Katie Joy says, I don't support companies that support human trafficking, mind control, coercion, fraud, and men who hold the fear of hell over the heads of the people they traffic to work for them. Oh, hold on, I hit the wrong thing. And then she put period, allegedly. But here she was tagging Forever 21, right? Tagging Forever 21, basically saying you're working with a cult. And then she says, period, which is like what? That's confirmation of something, right? Period. End of sentence. Period. Confirmation. And then she puts allegedly. And then she deleted this one. So if I had any of the ones that were deleted, this is the internet do your thing. We all remember this one. If you've been following this, since we've been talking about the lawsuit, everybody remembers this one. Internet, do your thing. And you can see how I did 2 arrows there, one pointing up to internet, do your thing, and the other one pointing to where where she tagged Forever 21 men. So, that's 7M basically saying you're reaching out to these companies. You're reaching out to these sponsors. Michelle, I don't know anything about when she gained control over the family Instagram account. I didn't know she did. I don't know anything about that. I can ask someone about that, but I didn't know anything about that. So I would be more safe to say it didn't happen, but that's just because I never heard anything about it. So I'll see if anybody knows anything. Yeah. What part does the obvious sarcasm of her allegedly, right, invalidated as protection? Exactly. See, and that's when this goes to trial, that's for a jury to decide, right? Are they going to go, oh, that's pure sarcasm? She started to call herself a journalist after Pathos asked us to rebrand from bloggers to things like daily columnists or opinion writers, etc. And then she went to journalist, and now she's an investigative journalist, isn't she, Suzanne? But that's interesting. Oh, she spoke on it, Michelle.
And you're seeing responses from the members.
Do you remember what Instagram account it was? Because I'm curious about that now. Thanks for that. Let me know if you remember what account it was.
And they're yelling at me. I mean, Concrete has been in my comments multiple times, yelling at me, saying that I'm lying. And then I say to him, like, why don't you go ask your pastor about these alleged sexual allegations, please? And then he goes away. So I don't even know if that's the other problem, is I don't know if they're actually the ones that are posting, because former members have said that their emails were hacked, their phones were hacked, they didn't have access to their phones.
Off topic, y'all. Look how much she has aged. I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm not trying to be an asshole. None of that. Sorry if I just made some noise there. Look at how much she's aged since March of 2022. The judge has already said she isn't a journalist, Sarah. In one of the rulings, when it came down to, I think it was the order motion on their motions not for contempt, their motions for discovery, to get their discovery. This is when I know. See, look, every time, y'all, when I get to the 2-hour mark, my brain starts doing this, and I look down, I'm like, yep, right at 2 hours. Their motions to compel. The judge said, this court has not deemed you as a journalist. Then in the fast forward, like a year or so, when you got to the order on the summary judgment, right? The judge says, Katie Joy identifies herself as a journalist. Meaning, in my opinion, they're saying Katie Joy is the one that identifies herself as a journalist, not the court. The Wilkins sisters. Okay. She said that 7M was running the Wilkins sisters, right? No. Don't scratch that. I didn't say that. Yeah, the Wilkins sisters too. There was the Wilkins sisters and Wilkins sisters too. Maybe Wilkins sisters too. I think the stress is aging her, and the alcohol. Because look, Katie Joy, you can deny it all you want. You drink. You show us that you drink. You go on lives drinking. So there is alcohol in your life. It could be the alcohol too. And look, we're all adults here. If we want to have a cocktail, if we want to drink, that's on us. Okay, fine. If you want to drink every day of your life, go ahead, Katie Joy. I'm just stating a fact that she has aged.
When they wanted to leave, they were put in isolation. I mean, one person described having to escape in the middle of the night. So they limit their diets, and then they also
See, that's the rage bait right there. Oh, they had to escape in the middle of the night. Number one, that wasn't a dancer. Now, I'm not saying that there might not have been a victim in that. Okay, I'm not even going to get into that whole aspect of it, of the sisters, meaning not Miranda and Melanie sisters, but Melanie and Priscilla, those sisters. I've never talked about their stories. I never want to discredit them. If they were in fact victims, I'm not going to say they weren't. I'm not going to say they were. Okay, that's their story to tell, and they told it through Netflix. Okay. But Katie Joy, what she does with her rage bait here, she's like, she wants to get everybody all worked up and get everybody all freaked out that all these dancers being held against their will. They have to escape at night, y'all. They have to get out of that dungeon. They're going to have to get out of their chains. So they're chained to this dungeon wall and they have to escape at night. And that's not the case. That's not the case.
also aren't allowed to sleep a lot. So one of the former members said that they work on like 5 hours of sleep, and then they're only eating like very regimented diets. And because Robert doesn't like people to be overweight, because he thinks lazy people are lazy, apparently. So they're not sleeping a lot. So they're sleep deprived, and then they're not eating enough, which is another easy way to manipulate people. When you're not sleeping enough, you're susceptible to being manipulated just because you're tired and your brain isn't functioning at like.
Or just straight up being an asshole. How much do you sleep, Katie Joy? I mean, no sleep can make you a total asshole too. Just saying.
Like the levels.
That's my opinion.
Hungry on top of that, your brain and your body doesn't have the energy. So critical thinking is hard.
Critical thinking is hard for just some dumbass people. Some people just do not have the ability to critical think in general. Just saying. So, number 62, Miranda promotes a fasting app. Robert Shin prefers fasting for eating. Yeah, like most dancers, most athletes. Have any of y'all ever seen Katie Joy's cousin? He's a ballet dancer. Have any of you ever seen him? Talk about a beautiful human being and an extremely talented dancer, an athlete, a dancer. Have any of y'all ever seen him? It makes you wonder. So along with that, so if I couldn't highlight it, I'd put it in a box. So no, this isn't a cute app she's using. Miranda is living a life where food is the enemy, according to former members. And then the hashtags are 7M Dance Crew, Colts, Free Miranda Derek. Now, I don't have all the hashtags on here, so there might have been more as well. Very few posts did I not get on my own or have on my own or have fully. His last name is Mansky. If you go look at Balls on Instagram and probably on Twitter, whichever one you're on more, I want to say I've seen it on hers a while back, but somebody has also sent me DMs about him. He's on Instagram. His last name is Mansky, which is her maiden name, and he's a ballet dancer. And he's extremely talented and extremely successful, y'all. Go check him out. If anybody knows his first name, feel free to put it in here. Obviously, do not go contact him. Do not tell him how much of an asshole his cousin is, because I'm pretty sure people know. This is by no means me wanting people to reach out to him, but support and follow him and watch how amazingly talented he is. Yes. Do not comment, please, y'all. Do not go and say anything to him. I think that's why I've been reluctant ever saying anything about him, but his talent deserves to be recognized. But I'm pretty sure he realizes he has an asshole for a cousin. He probably doesn't need to be reminded of that. She looks bony. Yeah, she probably was that kid in tap dance. I was that kid in tap dance. Okay, so look, if she was the kid in tap dance that kept falling over, and now she's jealous of talented people. Okay, for her. I was that. I hated dance. I was never in it. I was a swimmer. I was a straight. That's all. A swimmer. That was my thing. From the time I was 3, I was on swim team. But I wasn't jealous of people that are talented. But maybe she is. Maybe that's a good point. Y'all, I can't dance worth a no, not me. Like I said, I was a swimmer. Number 63. This is about AT&T. AT&T pulls collab with its Slavic. Yes, Zach. I believe that's his name. I believe that's his name. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Oh, I'm not signed in on here, so I was going to pull them up. Again, I don't want anybody to and I know y'all won't. I know the people in here that follow and chat, who chat in the chat, who comment in the comments, and even the ones that watch in the bushes and don't chat and don't comment. I can tell by my numbers who's sincere. I know none of y'all are going to go harass somebody like that, but I have to say it. Again, I'm pretty sure he's aware that who his cousin is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure his name, I think it's Zach Mansky. Um, 7M, so number 64. We're going to get to number 70, hopefully, and that's where I'm going to end it. Yeah, it's her cousin, is my understanding. Zach Mansky? That sounds right. Maybe I'm wrong. He's a ballet dancer. Anyways, extremely talented, extremely beautiful man. 7M has taken things to an extreme that is very concerning. They have now deleted James Derrick's Facebook and Twitter. This is March 31st of 2022, just days before she was served, okay? And you see how we fast forward, and then she's saying that that 7M, meaning Robert Shin, has deleted their Instagram as well. So it's just funny how things circle back. Oh, you found it, Bobby? Zachary Mansky. That is him. He's so talented, isn't he? My cousins are all Christian nationalists, so I'd hate to be judged by association. That's funny. That's funny, Shu. His leg muscles are incredible. Wowza. I know. There's this other person that I follow on Instagram that takes pictures of ballerinas. What do you call, y'all? This is a very ignorant question, but that's okay. I'm here to learn. What do you call a male ballerina? Is he a ballerino? Is he a ballerina? No, it wouldn't be. A ballerino? What would he be? So a male ballerina? But anyways, there's this photographer on Instagram that I follow that takes these still shots of them dancing, of the most incredible poses, like the stuff that a human body, it's so amazing to me that a human body can even do that. They can even make their bodies do this. And I want to say I saw him in one of them at one point, but I follow them on Instagram. And then when somebody sent me information on him, I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I know, Michelle. I know ballet dancers have control over every muscle. It's fascinating to me. No participation in active bedroom gymnastics, Dee, you would not say. She had a hard time scheduling it once, but she admitted recently that they don't at all, ever, and haven't in years. A year? Don't quote me on that. It was stated somewhere. It's out there. Just don't quote me on the exact amount of time or where it was said, but she said that it's not a thing. All right, let me get back to this. I'm too busy reading chat. Thank you for that, Bobby. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Danzior. See, I learned something new every day. Thank you for that. I could have, you know what? I'm surprised I never Googled it whenever, I'm surprised I never Googled it whenever I had that first thought. I appreciate that. Okay, so Miranda's Facebook profile is also deleted. So again, this was back in 2022. Absolutely no influencer in their right mind would ever be okay with their social media being deleted. There we are, that deleted word versus deactivated. We don't know if they deleted them. They probably deactivated those as well. And then she says, this is getting scary, in my opinion. Here we are 4 years later. This is March 31st of 2022. Danzier. Danzer. Like a dancer, but Danzer. My French is terrible. I've been to Paris 3 times. I should be very grateful for that, right? And I am very grateful. But the French don't like Americans. They don't like, and when I tried to speak French, I failed at it, and then I just became embarrassed, and so I just never tried. But luckily, 2 of the times that I was there, I was with fluent French speakers, or one was very fluent, like extremely fluent, and then the other one was like, they're British, and so they learned French in school, so they spoke it quite well, enough to get by, even though they don't really like the Brits either. So that's always very interesting. But you would think I would have a better understanding, but I don't, and I'm willing to admit it. Oh, how cool. See, a French immersion school so they can guide me through Paris someday. Yes. Yes, that's I look back and I wish I would have been more open to that. I don't know why I wasn't or why I didn't. I'm guessing it's probably because I had so many other things on my plate when it came academically. Like all through college, undergrad, graduate school, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I should have focused more. But now look, I'm on YouTube talking about a piece of shit human. What do you know? What do you know? You see where all my degrees got me, right? But here she says, oh, this is getting scary. Oh, Goose. You didn't get notified. Yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes late. You should be scolded. For us, it was a public school option a mile from our house. It was so convenient. Being in Texas, obviously, we had to take Spanish. It was not even I took 3 years of Spanish, y'all. You would think that I'd be good at Spanish. I can understand it. That's the most I get out of it. You're bilingual in French and English. Oh, I'm so envious of that. I truly, truly am. Truly, I'm so envious of that. I thought about doing some of those, but I don't know. With my attention span being that of a gnat, I don't think I'd get very far, especially in my old age. But y'all hear my dog snoring. I'm sorry. Surprised it's only one. Never had the French be rude to you, but you were Creole. Okay, yeah. Yeah. But I struggle with Spanish. Still speak it better than a certain creator. That I know. I speak better Spanish than Kega Joy. Yeah, like if you're a Creole, and you grew up in that arena, absolutely. My last name is French. Imagine that. I never really had the French be rude to me. In France, I did. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They weren't super rude, but they weren't pleasant. 4 years in Spanish, and I can say it's nothing and thank you. De nada. Gracias. That's so cool to have that program in Columbus. Okay, we're going to get through this. She was the youngest performer to advance to Las Vegas. This is when she was, I guess, talking about Miranda when she was in. Was this, so you say you can dance? Ruth Carroll, your notification didn't go off either? But AP Spanish, and you can only say about 10 words. I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so bad. I can't roll my R's, and that's the biggest thing for me. I would get really intimidated and embarrassed by it. Yeah, I can't roll my R's, and so that's a big part of speaking Spanish, clearly, right? Okay, so on this post, she says, this is the real Miranda. Okay, so she's trying to show, like, look, you know, Miranda, it's not that she's grown up and become a young adult, growing into who she is as an individual. No, she says, this is the real Miranda. She was healthy, fit, happy, and had passion in her eyes. I don't know about y'all, but any of you that watched Miranda and James on their Instagram, Miranda was healthy. She was absolutely fit. She looked happy to me and had passion in her eyes until this bitch came along and kind of robbed her of it. Miranda is a shell of this young woman. How do you know? You never knew her. I understand you're talking to her family. I understand the family could tell you that. But to say it like you knew her is creepy as hell. Miranda is a shell of this young woman. This is March 31st, 2022, and has been robbed of her passion. Her family will not stop fighting to bring her home. Her family pushed her further into a situation they said was scary and life-threatening. That's my opinion. Irish dancer legs, yes. YouTube is so annoying. I don't know why. I have certain creators that I always get their notifications. Okay, here's number 68. We all remember. Do y'all remember this live? Look at her nose there, y'all. That's just a weird angle.
And he has a car now and he has money, but yet he's still not making an effort to see his son. Robert wasn't a licensed real estate agent. And then there's like, they have their real estate and their escrow companies together, which is apparently illegal in the state of California. So there's lots of like illegal transactions that could have happened while they were doing their real estate deals. So now we find out that he's opened these 4 like companies for the dancers. And I asked the former members, I was like, well, what are these companies? And they're like, oh, those are shell companies. That's their allegation. I'm not saying they're shell companies. That's what the former, like, it's Slavic.
Okay, so there she says, oh, that's a former member says it's their allegation. They say they're shell companies. See, she could probably be safe with that. Fast forward 2025, 2026, she says absolutely he's laundering money, that he has these shell companies where he launders this money. She says it as fact. So that's why whenever I say, yeah, it's frustrating that it took so long to get here. Like if this would have already gone to trial, she probably gotten a slap on the wrist. There's no telling what would happen, right? Now, fast forward and we see how she says things. And we're going to get to those. We're going to get to those too, because I have all 212 of them, y'all.
Vic or Vic. Another thing. Okay, so I got a lot of shit for this a couple weeks ago.
They're shit person.
Slavic's fundraiser, but I flat out asked them about the fundraiser, and they said there's absolutely no way that you can guarantee that Robert's hands aren't on that money. They said that they've done fundraisers in the past for him, and he's taken money from the fundraisers. That was their allegation. So they said that if the group,
this was when Vic was fundraising for his family back, and she was saying, no, it's going to all go to Robert. Slavic had family fighting. He had his dad and some male. I could be mistaken, but I remember watching some of his stuff. And he had family in Ukraine, male members of his family that were actually fighting this war. He raised a lot of money. What's her name that we were just talking about earlier? My brain is going down, y'all. Ellen DeGeneres. She encouraged it, like she gave it a shout out, whatever. She shared it. A lot of people donated to it. He made a lot of money. And Katie Joy is saying that he wasn't getting it. That Robert Shin is the one that made him do it, and that Robert Shin was taking all the money, and that was not going to Ukraine. Fuck you, Katie Joy. I said it. I meant it.
Is putting out fundraisers to not donate, because you cannot guarantee that Robert won't be taking that money, and they don't have access to any of their bank accounts according to them. So when you're donating to them, you're basically giving Robert money.
And again,
so
under sworn statements, in sworn statements, 7M, Miranda Derrick and James Derrick have said that that is not true. So that will come out. That will be shown to the jury, that all this is a lie. But again, she's saying, well, this former member told me this. So, you know, she would have gotten away with it a little bit easier here. Not as we get into the statements that we're going to get into once we get into after you know, statement number 100.
Want to help Ukraine, go to a verified source. I hope Ellen will really consider
Exactly.
the video so people stop donating to that, because likely are going to just be giving money to Robert and not to Slavic's father. All the money they're making is going to Robert and the church. That's the allegation. So you're not ruining their livelihood. You're actually like, it's about stopping the cult from making money. And if you start squeezing off that revenue source, it forces them to have to divert and to change course. And if they don't have the money to sustain, to continue doing what they're doing, they can't continue to exploit these people. So yeah, James is paying child support, but probably not what he should be paying.
Again, I'm going to say it again. Pardon my language. I apologize in advance. Fuck you, Katie Joy. You do not need to be speaking about his child. You do not need to be speaking about him as a parent, as a father. Screw you. Screw you. You piece of shit.
To like stop critical thinking. And then they're also using techniques to like control their diet so that they're hungry, and their sleep so they're tired, taking away their access to like all their responsibilities.
Barb's makeup journey, does she ever even get a slap on the wrist? She really hasn't so far, but I think she's going to go from a slap on the wrist to being knocked full on her ass, like bad. This is going to, again, I can't speak for certain. I don't know. We never know how a jury's going to react. We never know what's going to happen in these next motions that Katie Joy files. Is she going to be successful in getting any of these statements, of these 212 statements in the new complaint, getting those dismissed somehow along the way? I don't know. But the way it's looking, it's not good. A slap on the wrist, yeah, I think she's about to get her ass whooped. But again, people like Katie Joy do not change. Katie Joy will not change who she is. This will not teach her a lesson. She'll pay the money. She'll do everything. She'll keep lying to her followers that think, so many of her followers think that she's already won this lawsuit, that it's going nowhere. They have no idea where this stands. None. And it's sickening, actually. But, you know, that's their right. She can tell him what she wants to tell him. She has a way with words. She has a way of manipulating. So number 69 is where the arrow is pointed towards. Miranda and B- mysteriously left on a trip, knowing full well the Wilkings were traveling to see Miranda. Mysteriously. I don't think so, because the judge essentially told 7M what they have to do to make it go through. Exactly, Goose. There will be some statements that Katie can probably argue, but let's be honest here. 212 statements, and over 100 of them are really bad, or like from 2025 on, like from once the docuseries was released, right? Well, that was the summer of 2024, right? Yeah, summer of 2024. So from the summer of 2024 on. And then you have whenever the raid happened, she got really bold with that. So I agree. I think that by looking at how, and I was saying that earlier too, Goose, like by looking at how the judge ruled on the past summary judgment and then also their reconsideration on summary judgment. Katie Joy should have left it the way she did. She screwed herself by filing a reconsideration for summary judgment, because the judge just basically came back and was like, yeah, I guess you're right, Katie Joy. This is a little, I guess maybe you could be considered ambiguous. So 7M, you have the right to move the court to go amend the complaint and specify. And that's what they did. 212 statements specified, to be exact. Oh, wow, Sherry. Sherry says, to be honest, I was once a KJ follower until I happened to your page one day. And oh my God, where my eyes opened. Thank you. You know, and here's the thing. I appreciate you saying that. And I think the majority of the people in here did follow Katie Joy at one point. So you're not alone in that. You're certainly not alone in that. And I only want to speak the facts. Like, I have my own hatred, my own, I don't know, hatred. I don't have hatred in my heart really at all, but I have my own anger towards what Katie Joy has done towards Miranda and James and what she does towards other people, a lot of other people. This isn't just, you know, I have a lot, right? But I want to just be fair about what I say. And I just try to speak and show facts. So if Katie Joy wants to say one thing about a lawsuit and you're following her over there on YouTube in particular, because she's very careful on YouTube. And as a follower, ex-follower, you know this. She was very careful on YouTube. If you go look at her on Instagram and TikTok, she's vile. She's way more bold about things. She's a totally different person. That's just my opinion as her being vile. So if you only follow her on YouTube, of course, I understand why people are confused. But if you start to look at what she says about her lawsuit, and then you look at the actual lawsuit itself, you start to see the real truth. You remember once commenting when you followed Katie. Oh, hold on, let me go back up to that comment. I remember once commenting when I followed Katie and Balls tagged me on something. I blocked them until I started seeing some weird behavior about the Duggars and then Sister Wives and unblocked them. Yeah. Yeah. I guess if you are like real supportive of something that, you know, Balls or somebody's able to like say, hey, wait a minute, that's not the truth and I can show you the truth. It's a good thing that you circled back around and you listened, I guess. You know, I mean, yeah, she's messy. She's messy AF, isn't she, Jill? Yeah, Goosey even admits it. Like, we don't want to admit it. Sherry, most of us were supportive of hers, some longer than others. So we hate saying that, don't we, Goose? It's like, oh, do I even say this out loud? No, I don't want to admit it. KJ used better about hiding her different. Yeah, she was better about hiding things before, her different personalities. It wasn't until you got Twitter that you saw how awful she was. Yeah. She was really bad on X, apparently. I never really followed her on X or TikTok, only on Instagram. And then recently, I didn't, when she went back to TikTok, whenever Gypsy Rose thing started back up, then she went back to TikTok. And she said quite a few horrible things about Robert Shin as well as Todd Chrisley, which is against her settlement agreement. Okay, we're going to go over one more and then we're going to be done for the day because it's been 2.5 hours. Holy cow. So you see the arrow here where it says, if you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing, Robert. So that was included in 7M's of the 212 statements. That's a statement that they included. If you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing, Robert. Trying to get to number 70 here because I said we were going to do up to number 70 today.
Paying his taxes for him, and they're controlling his schedule and his bookings and his time.
Okay, so we're going to do this.
B-Dash says that they're managing all of his finances.
We're going to do this last one, and then I'm going to chat with y'all for a bit, and then we're going to be done for the day.
And they're paying his taxes for him, and they're controlling his schedule and his bookings and his time. 7M today tried to say that they don't do any of that, that they have all the free time that they want, and they don't work for them. The average amount of time that they worked for 7M is 0 to 5 hours a week, depending on the jobs lined up. The rest of the time, they are free to nap, socialize, create content, work out, and live their best lives. It's not monitored or dictated by anyone, and those hours certainly are not paid by 7M. They are individual talents that it's up to them to build their skills and resume on their own. And they are not employees, and we don't monitor their breaks, their lunches, or trips to the restroom, for crying out loud. Okay, you said that they worked for you 0 to 5 hours, but then you also said they're not your employees. So what is the truth? Are they working for you 0 to 5 hours a week, or are they not your employees? And are you their manager, or are they independent individual talents that control their own lives and dictate their skills and resumes on their own? I don't know why like my reporting and what I'm sharing isn't equivalent in many ways to them coming forward. They've come forward to me and I'm sharing what they're telling you. Eventually they might get to a space where they feel comfortable sharing, but they also have to remember that they fear retaliation and they don't know what could happen if they spoke out.
Oh, just want to punch my screen. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're going to end it here at number 70. It was fantastic catching up with all of you. And going through these, what did we do? About 35 of them. I'm telling you, once we get into like after 100, it's bad for Katie Joy. Once we start getting past like the summer of 2024, and that's what Katie Joy is trying to get dismissed. We're going to start to see it in her motions. We're going to see these things being filed. She has until August 31st to file dispositive motion. And we're going to see these filings coming through. She's going to be doing everything she can to argue it. There are a couple of dates on the docket for a motion hearing. There's 2 dates to be exact. I don't remember exactly what they were. One of them is just a couple of days before her dispositive motion is actually due. So I think the judge is just being proactive, trying to get it on the books, knowing that there's going to be some things filed. And she wants this thing done, said and done. You could tell that she wants this out. She wants this to go to trial. Or at least get to the stage of getting to trial, right? Does this judge want it to go to trial? Probably not. The judge is going to probably do everything she can to still at this stage try to get them to settle, see what they can do for this not to go to trial. But it's going to go to trial. I'm pretty sure. I pretty much am willing to bank on it. You got blocked after you called out her lack of journalistic ethics. Yeah. Oh, around Garrison Brown. That was so awful, wasn't it? Thank you, Blake, for the reminder. Yeah, I mean, the Blocked by Katie Joy Club, right? So many. I've never gone into any of her stuff. I've never commented. I caught on very quickly. The time that I learned, I only followed Katie Joy for a very brief time. And then when the Brian Laundrie stuff was going down and they were, and all of that, she did something with that just, it shook me. The whole license plate thing. And I'd only been following her for just a little bit. And when that happened, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this bitch calls her a journalist. And didn't she get into some kind of rift with Brian Enton also? Keemstar versus Katie Joy was a good moment. That was a good moment. There's been some good moments. And she learned to back away from that, didn't she? She learned to back away from these creators that would really put her in her place. Or that not even put her in her place, but that had a large platform. Because she realized if they're speaking negatively about her, it might bring her some people, but then it was also getting out all this negative information about her. So she just kind of stopped addressing people, which is smart. It really is kind of smart. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Keemstar. Let me just make that clear, especially with all this stuff that he's done recently. I never could get into it. It was just not my thing. In fact, I was disgusted by a lot of it, but I understand a lot of people were into it. And so, yeah, Ruth Carroll, bless his soul. It's just that's an awful situation with Garrison. But yeah, the whole Keemstar stuff, I just the lolcow universe and all that, couldn't get into it. If y'all don't know anything about it, you're better off for it. Trust me. That's just my opinion though. But I think he's lost a bunch of that. He was making shit tons of money, y'all. I mean, a ton. And from my understanding, some of it got shut down. But I don't know. Don't quote me. That's just what I kind of saw. He might be gaining it back. I don't know. Yeah, that was the I think that was Brian Inton, wasn't it? That called her out during the Gabby Petito thing. And then she got pissed off at him. He's a true journalist. He is a very ethical journalist and human being. Oh yeah. No, recently he had this whole these channels, and he called it like the lolcow universe or something, and there were all these different channels, and he owned them all. And then I think he like paid the people. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. There were people that were into it. It was not my thing. And I don't want to speak on it that much because I don't really know much about it. But what I saw, I didn't like. But that's just my opinion. Some people were really into it. Some people really liked it. But I don't know the status of it. So you could just take my word and just, don't take much of that. Don't put too much thought into what I just said. I didn't like what she did to LB. Oh, me neither. She just, I listen, Bean, I firmly believe that. I believe in the beginning. See, look, Katie Joy got in on YouTube when the time was right to get in on YouTube and to learn the ins and outs and do things. And she's smart when it comes to that. There was a time where you could get away with buying subs. You could. It's a fact. It just is. I firmly believe Katie Joy bought a lot of her subs. Do I think she bought all of them? No. Do I think that she had a good number, bought some more, that number went up, she bought some more? Do I think some of them are actual subs that subbed? Yeah, absolutely. But I also believe that she got her numbers up high, and people, when they look at big numbers, they think, oh, this person's a good creator, they must be reliable, so they sub to them. I firmly believe that. That's my opinion. Now, my understanding is if you try to buy subs, YouTube recognizes them quickly and pushes them out, and you can lose your channel over it. But I think that she was in at the right time. I think that she was able to do that. I absolutely believe she did. And that's just my firm belief. Oh, your parents were both journalists? Oh, I bet it makes your skin crawl. I bet it makes you mad. I bet it affects you in a way. It affects me to where it pisses me off so bad, but I bet I bet, hold on. I'm losing myself here. I bet you, Shu, that just makes you absolutely crazy. You don't watch creators that go after other creators. There's enough room for everybody. Yeah. See, I agree. And that's what I hated in one of the communities I just kind of came from. I'm still in part of it. I did not like being treated shitty and basically being called an idiot because I did not want to choose sides, that I wanted to be friends with both people. I wanted to watch both people. I wanted to be able to chat in both chats. Nope, couldn't happen. Couldn't happen. I was forced out. But I have friends that I call friends that I really appreciate, and I like them. I would never judge them, and they're still over in that other chat, but I'm not going to judge them for it at all. I don't want to be over there because of my own experiences. They don't want to be where I'm at because of their own experiences. But I don't believe it's anybody's right to tell anybody where they can and cannot go. Go wherever you want. Go be a troll. Go be a good troll. Go be a bad troll. Go wherever the hell you want. This place is big enough for everybody. Anyways, I'll shut up now because my dogs are like, what is going on? 2 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, but remember when she got the plaque? Isn't that when she stood up and someone thought she was wearing a diaper? Not where it looks like she was wearing a diaper. Just saying. She went up to show everybody the plaque and she stood up and everyone's like, is that a diaper? I know, Unitopia, everybody calling each other hypocrites. I hear that word and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? And you know what, Unitopia, you'll understand this one. Diapergate. Yes, Diapergate. But Unitopia, it's the whole, oh, I'm not going to stream them because some people are big old babies and they're just going to strike because they get their feelings hurt. So I can't say anything over here. I have to go over to Rumble. For those of you that upsets me by saying that, I'm sorry. That's how I feel. And I think there's just a lot of hypocrites. See? But I don't hate the people. I don't hate the people. I'm certainly not going to talk down to the people that haven't seen it yet or will never see it or don't want to see it or don't care to see it or may never see it because that's their prerogative. That's their right. Just don't come tell me I'm an idiot. If you're not part of the people saying that I'm an idiot and you're not part of that hypocrisy, I don't care. You're still my friend. That's it, Bean. It's always the biggest hypocrite and narcissist trying to call everyone else that. I still care for a lot of people in that community that I don't get to chat with because they're not in the same chat. And I will still check on them. I will still appreciate them, period. When you do me wrong, when something's directed at me, and there was something directed at me at that time from that community, why I chose what I chose. When something's directed at me, yeah, I'm gonna find my way out, and I'll talk about it, and then I'll drop it because it's not that because it's fucking YouTube, it's the internet. It's not that big of a deal. It's entertainment, but when you cross it over into real life, that's when I start to have a problem with it. So if you don't attack me and you have nothing to say about me, I'm going to love you just as much as I loved you in that chat before. I just can't chat in there because then I'll get called out. I like a lot of them that are in Charlotte in the Web's chat. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I go in Charlotte's chat. I feel comfortable commenting in Charlotte's chat. I will never not feel comfortable saying what I want to say in Charlotte's chat. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I feel that way in other people's chats, but I'm not even going to bring it up right now because we're not even talking about that side. I mean, we kind of are, but kind of aren't. Kind of speaking in code here. So for those of you that I lost you on that, it's better to be lost than to even know, right? We're only going to talk about Katie Joy and her lawsuit here. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about other little things here and there, but the majority of it's that. Oh, you found me from Charlotte on the Web? Good. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I remember I made a video about Katie Joy, and I watched Charlotte on the Web all the time, still do. And I just don't get to chat as much as I used to. A lot of times I have to catch on replay. But when I was in her chat one day, I didn't even know how to chat, y'all. I didn't even know what a chat was. But she was playing my video, and I remember thinking, oh my God, she just played my video. And I was like so happy for it. She helped people realize that there was somebody else talking about Katie Joy. So I don't know if I should be mad at you right now, Charlotte on the Web, because now here I am, right? Talking about this bitch, or, I should be grateful, but I'm definitely grateful because she's always been good at promoting people. And she's also good about if you cross her, she's not going to do much about it. She's going to say it and she's going to move on, but she's not going to go real life. So I'm glad that you found me through her. Hey, Mama Celeste. Hey, y'all. One of Charlotte's supporters here. Love to all. There's so much love to go around. I hate that there's so much anger and hatred. And I wish a lot of people would also recognize this is YouTube, and a lot of it's just for drama. But when it comes to this and Katie Joy and her lawsuit, this is real life. This isn't drama. This is real life. There's a separation. But I'm not going to go real life on Katie Joy. I'm not going to go real life and start posting her real life stuff. I'm just going to talk about the lawsuit. Everything that I show can be found online. Okay, so with that, I am going to shut up. With that, I'm going to shut up. So, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you need to be able to just simply turn it off and walk away. And if you can't, that's when you have a problem and you need to shut it down for a while and walk away. And that goes for all topics, every community, whatever. Yeah, see, whenever, that's the thing about Charlotte on the web. When she would show the Lisa stuff, I personally couldn't watch it. But Charlotte wasn't going to get mad at me because I opted out. I noped out until Lisa wasn't on the screen. Then I'd come back. She wasn't going to get mad at me for that. She totally understood. Okay, go back and enjoy that hour that you missed. Yeah, I can't watch the Michelle stuff anymore either. And to think that I used to do videos on her. What? Makes me want to kick my own ass. But I learned from it, right? I learned from it. I learned a lot from it. All right, this is the end of it, I promise. How many times did I say goodbye now? Great rest of your day. My dogs are staring at me. They're not happy. So I'm going to let them go run and stretch their legs. I'm going to go check on my sourdough. Thank you for those of you reminding me when I had to do my last stretch and fold. I'm going to go see how it is doing. And I will be back soon. Today is what, Thursday? I'll try to be back Monday. If something comes up between now and then, I'll do a live. If not, I'll aim for Monday, and we'll continue going on. We'll start with number 71 on the next one. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Hit that thumbs up on the way out if you have not. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Also, if you didn't get notifications, go ahead and unsub, give it a little bit, resub, and reset your notifications. That tends to help. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
It don't take a crystal ball to know how some stories end. When someone keeps saying opinions like facts, the courts start listening. Southern mutton don't predict nothing, we just watch and write it down. Don't need a crystal ball to see it coming back around. When you state it like a fact and never check it first. Southern mutton watch it close from the courthouse ground. True, stay patient while the paper getting worse. Same routine, new headline phone. Same bold claims that the record don't want. She speak real loud, no maybe, no seems. Turn opinions into facts like the courtroom clean. I ain't wishing nothing, I just seen the signs. When the words outrun proof, it's a matter of time. History repeat when you don't learn yet. Courts don't care what you meant, just what you said. When confidence louder than evidence be, that's when patterns start explaining things to me. Don't need a crystal ball to see it coming back around. When you speak like a verdict before the truth's found. Southern mutton in the case, boots firm on the tile. We don't chase drama, we just watch the file, yeah. Country rap calm, I don't glow to grin. I just read the docket when it rolled back in. She called it truth, call it just how it is. But courts draw lines where the talking ends. I ain't psychic, I'm observing. Facts don't bend cause a voice is urgent. From testimony tone to the written page. Same outcome when the pattern don't change. Lies like speed, truth like distance. One burns fast, one keeps existing on. Lies like speed, truth like distance. One burns fast, one keeps existing. Don't need a crystal ball, don't need belief. When the law still runs on proof and receipts. Southern mutton watching through the courtroom glass, pointing out lies as they're saying it's facts. Yeah. This ain't prophecy, this ain't hate, just history watching itself repeat. When words get reckless, the courts get busy, and the truth always shows up right on time.